Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me is my bestest best friend in the entire world, Chubax. How are you doing?
We are back, baby.
We're
Been too
back.
long, too long.
After a couple of weeks break, we are back with another episode of Plus 63 HP Reviews, where we deep dive into a show or a movie, provide our opinions, and give you a little bit of info if you and your friends should watch it as well. So if this is your first time watching or listening to our show, welcome. Thank you very much. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/plus63hp. We are on all the socials. You can find us with the handle at plus63hp on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you don't want to watch us, don't want to see our faces, you just want to listen to us, open your favorite podcasting app, search plus63hp, and we shall be there. We particularly like Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Amazon. Just a little bit of a reminder, when we do our plus 63 HP rating for reviews, we kind of divide it into good and bad. Anything 5 and above is good, anything 4 and below is bad. On the good side, if it is from 5 to 7, it's various levels of good. When it's 8, it is great. And if
Yeah,
it's
baby.
9, if it's 9, it is excellent. And if it's 10, it is a masterpiece, meaning you really, really have to watch it. And if it's bad, of course, anywhere between 2 to 4 is various levels of bad. But if it's 1, maybe it's so bad that you have to watch it, or maybe it's so bad that you can only send suggestions for people to watch it to the people that you hate the most. So, our topic for this week, very exciting movie that we planned a couple of weeks ago. It is a movie called Barbarian. So Barbarian,
Barbarian.
right? Yeah, Barbarian. Before we give our spoilery review, so we will start off with a couple of stats and then what we like about the movie in a non-spoilery version. So, just a few stats. It was written by and directed by Zach Krieger.
What's
I was
this?
looking.
What's have he done? Yeah, what? Let me know. Tell me what he's done.
So the films that he have done that we might have heard is Doubting Thomas, Opening Night, Date and Switch, Love, and Air Sex. So that's not like super popular. It's very
And
small.
not
He's
horror.
not necessarily much horror, but also he's more of a an actor as well, right? So he is a recurring actor in Adam Ruins Everything, which is kind of that stats driven show that I don't know if you've seen. I watch it. I like it a lot. Um, he was part of About a Boy. That's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
decent film. He's also in Friends with Benefits, the series, not the movie, right? He's in there in 17 episodes, and also Guys with Kids. So Barbarian is actually one of the few things that he's written and directed. He has a small film called The Civil War on Drugs. He was a little bit comedic, but also historical. But he has a the Death of Superman short film. Uh, oh, he was the actually he played Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern in that movie. So when I was looking at it, not much of an experience, which is very impressive because again,
Mm-hmm.
spoiler alert, I kind of enjoyed this movie. Stars Georgina Campbell, right? Georgina Campbell is also known for films like All My Friends Hate Me, Blank Shores, Wildcat. Most famous, most familiar, she was in King Arthur Legend of the Sword as Kay. That's the one with Guy Ritchie and Charlie Hunnam.
For me, what's
Um,
it's Krypton.
oh, yes, Krypton. Bill Skarsgård, it himself, and Justin Long, Mr. iMac versus PC or Mac versus PC person, is also there. It was released in the summer of 2022, July 22nd. It's only 102 minutes long, so just a little under, like 20 minutes under 2 hours, which is perfect for this kind of
Mm-hmm.
movie. Most impressive. It only had a budget of $4.5 million, but in the box office, it raked in $45.3 million. So our kind of like unofficial success rubric of two times your
Definitely.
official budget is your kind of Hollywood break even. It is almost 10 times as that. It's exactly 10 times like that. So this is a very successful film. You can now see it on HBO Max. So enjoy if you have it. Before we again dive into Chubax giving us a little bit of the synopsis, non-spoilery Chubax, how did you like Barbarian?
I really liked it. I didn't love it though. I really liked it. I was hoping love, but it's still well made.
Mm.
Something I wished I saw in the movie theater. I
Mm.
think that would have upped it a bit, but still good. How about you?
So perfect comment because I saw this with friends upstate when we had our post Thanksgiving and pre-Christmas weekend. And the reason why I reserved it watching it with friends, because another one of our friends saw it already, and that's the exact quote. It's like, hey, this is the type of movie that you would want to watch with a couple of people so that the reaction of these people is something that you could
It adds to
enjoy
the
as well,
it
right?
adds to the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
right. Because also like it's some people, these when we go to the plot, a lot of the things that move the plot along is some version of how would you react if you were in the situation, right?
Mm.
If somebody shows up to your doorstep in your Airbnb, how would you react? If you see a door in a basement, how would you act? Those are all the fun stuff that when we were watching, like really, really enrich the experience. But you're right, it's a good movie. It's very, very enjoyable. It's not super scary. It is scary. It's not super scary. Doesn't have that many jump scares, but has a few. Not too gross. So it's one of those, if you don't like scary movies, you can power through it. If you really like scary movies, you'll be scared enough. But in the end, it's just well shot, well made, well acted movie. That also has some hints of layers about socioeconomic things of what was happening in certain parts of the United States. Because like when they shot this in, I was telling them like part of the plot is it's not a great neighborhood, right? That's why you had to Airbnb. You can't get into a hotel. So I was thinking like I would hate to be actually living in where they were shooting because like wow, that's how they describe my neighborhood. But yeah, that is our initial reactions of Barbarian. Chubax, give us a bit of a lowdown before we discuss in detail about our favorite things that are in this movie.
You mean story wise?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just not familiar with. Okay, so we get a young woman, Tess Marshall, who is out of state, coming to Detroit for an interview. So she books an Airbnb, and I like that she came in at night and it's
Mm.
raining hard, and she sees the house, so she tries the key from the keypad lock, and it's not there, and she finds out that it's occupied by
Bill
Keith,
Skarsgård.
yeah, Bill Skarsgård, as Keith Toshko, who after some talking and back and forth, they figure out that he booked it from home away,
Yeah.
something like that, home
They
away.
booked it in two different apps. Yeah.
So they double booked it, and so even this one is like a little scary, like a young woman with a guy, and I mean this is the reason why you cast Bill Skarsgård, because from all
Hmm.
the horror movies and stuff, you know that he can be a bad guy. But
Yep.
he was charming, and he was really cool, and they hit it off, and she stays because she couldn't book a hotel. So they have good chemistry. They drink wine. She stays in the room, and he stays outside. And you get some creepy stuff. The door was unlocked. She comes out. She sees Keith with having a nightmare. And then we just got that small door closing behind her with with nobody there. And then so the next day he's gone. He went somewhere. She went to her interview, but as she came out of the house, she's surprised that all of the other houses are like fucking dilapidated and fucked up, vandalized and really beaten down and like not even livable. Like really, you can see inside like
Really dilapidated,
the walls
and
were
it's the only house.
broken down and stuff. And it was so weird because it's the only house that wasn't touched.
Mhm.
And I guess we know why. And then so she goes there interview. Um, I kind of felt bad. I not bad. Like I was like that the her new boss that she was interviewing. Like when she found
Mhm.
out that Tess was staying at Brightmore, like
By birth.
she should have insisted more. Like
Yeah.
she should have been more insistent that don't go back. Like get the fuck out of it. Don't even go back.
But the good thing about this before we move on is like the I really like the touch on why Bill Skarsgård was there. Because like one if that place was that bad, then how could they possibly have it
Uh,
double booked?
yeah,
So immediately we're thinking he's a bad guy. But when
yeah.
they started talking and he's actually and the good
That's
thing
his
it
thing.
yeah, it ties the story together. She is wanting to interview for a position of an assistant for this documentary filmmaker about how Detroit is being rejuvenated. And Bill Skarsgård and Bill Skarsgård's company
It's one of the
is
reasons.
one of those organizations that does it, that they scout these horrible areas so they can buy it all up and then lift it up. And it's true because like I remember in Amazon when we opened an office in Detroit, we got some information like, hey, if you want to move to Detroit, you can buy a house for $10,000.
Wow.
Like an actual house, not super duper bad, but again, like you're right,
It's
it's a
still a house.
horrible neighborhood, right? But the idea of it is like that's why these organizations they try to buy the entire lot cheap, fix it up a little bit, hopefully to respur the environment. So when that kind of information dropped, because at first the entire time, the first few minutes, like
He's a bad guy.
how will this dude turn? And then I realized like, oh, he might not turn. This is pretty decent. So okay, go ahead.
So it's just one of those perfect casting. It reminds me of the negotiator with Kevin Spacey and Samuel L.
Kevin Spacey.
Jackson.
Hmm.
Because like all the other cops that were casted there have been bad guys. So you don't know who's really the traitor. You know, oh, this one's an asshole, and this he was a bad guy, and this one's also a bad guy. So, like, oh, he was just an asshole at the end. Like, he's still good. So it's like perfect. You play with the stereotypes and what people are used to. So anyway, she goes back, and uh, Keith is still not there. Goes in, does some errands, and then she runs out of toilet paper, so she has to go down to the basement. She gets locked in the basement stupidly, and so she's
This is
stuck
where when you
there.
watch it with people, you kind of like, one, nope, you're not gonna go in there. Two, if you're gonna go in there, you're gonna prop the door open. You're doing everything that we can. We've seen enough scary
Well, I
movies,
mean,
but yeah.
it will happen. Like the first time it happened, she missed it, so it's understandable. No? And then so she goes down, and she gets stuck, waiting for trying to call for someone. She left her phone. She left the keys upstairs. So she's stuck there, and then she finds this rope. This itty bitty rope sticking out of a wall. It's just like a
Always
hole.
good.
It's just like a hole in the bathroom. You don't you don't touch it. You don't put anything in it. You don't play with it. But she pulls it. She pulls it, and a secret door opens. And she goes in, and she finds a room that has a bed, a bucket, and a camera. So fucked up.
Yeah,
And a
you see that you run.
bloody handprint. I know. But then again, she's stuck. So she goes out. She did run, I think, and she finds Bill, and he gets her out. But he's a curious guy, and he's like, "I want to see it." So he goes down, and this is when she shouldn't have left him, right? They
Yeah.
should
You
have
just that's no
stayed
longer your
together.
problem. Run away.
If she wasn't gonna, if she wasn't gonna go with him, she should have left. She shouldn't
Yeah.
have stayed and let him go alone.
Mhm.
So, anyways, so
Either
he
go
goes,
together or leave.
yeah. So he goes, and he disappears, and she goes down, almost gets shut in again, but she props the door up, and then we get the real big scare of like, so she goes in the door, and she inside the secret room. There's another secret door that goes even further, like
Further down.
down farther, and then so dark, and she has a phone. And finally, she hears Keith calling her to her, calling for help. And then he's as they get together, he's talking like something bit me and stuff like that. And then we see the creature, or
Mhm.
is it? I guess it's a creature, right?
They call it the mother, but
Yeah. So it's like a really, really mutated
mhm,
woman, older woman. I don't think it's
mhm.
that old. Uh, so it kills Keith immediately. Like really well done. This one, this death, and then and then it goes to her, and then it blacks out, and then we transfer to Justin Long, who's like this douchebag.
That's a good thing too. I was surprised that there was kind of like it's a jump cut, like an actual departure. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a second story almost like.
So we get to him. He's a well, not a struggling actor, but he was an actor, and then suddenly, I guess he's like a celebrity, but then he gets, we get this quick. I guess it's a flashback, right? Or maybe a few days before, or maybe
A
a
few
few
days
weeks.
before, like like
Sometime,
short
yeah,
description of summary of what had happened.
yeah. So he apparently is being, he was accused of raping his co-actress, and we see his life go from like he was so happy, right? The first scene singing in the
Mhm.
convertible car, he's accused, dropped from his work, his dropped by his financial advisor, his money's going down the drain. So what does he do? He has to go to Detroit, and one of his properties, which is the house that was on Airbnb. So he has to check it out to sell it. So
Mhm.
he checks in. Checks in. Oh, he goes to Detroit. He goes to that house, and it's quite pretty long setup also. And he
Yeah.
even goes on a dinner, on a club with his friend, and he kind of confesses that he did.
Admits.
Yeah, he admits
Yeah.
that he did rape her.
Do that was one of the best times that we had when we were watching it together. Because like when he started saying, because one, during the first part of him being canceled, right? Is he being sued for rape or at least being accused of rape? Um, yeah, you can have this feeling like, oh, we are in this
She's
cancel
lying. Yeah.
culture. You can't do anything. It was consensual, etc., etc. And then you get to that club scene, and he starts admitting to it, very broy, like bro, very broy. And then he mentioned the douchiest line anybody ever can ever say. It just said, so what his friend asked, so what really happened? And then he was like, bro, straight up, straight, you know me. I mean, I don't do those things, but she took a little convincing. Oh, and when every the room when we were watching it started like,
And
oh,
even
but
the like, and he followed it up with like, "Did you say no at first?"
mhm.
Wait, no,
At first, yeah,
that's
took a
already
little bit
rape, bro.
convincing. Yeah, yeah.
So anyways, he goes home. He's drunk. Um, he calls the girl, the actress. Gets voicemail, apologizes, and then was it? It was the next day, right? That he finds the
Yeah, because he was drunk, he was puking or whatever,
yeah,
and then
he
he's
passed out and wakes up,
mhm.
and then he's trying to do laundry and stuff, and then he goes to the basement and sees the setup, the weird setup that the Tess left, and he finds the rope, the door, and the secret door. So he goes in.
Or a secret door. It was very easily found twice by two different sets of people.
But the way they set it up, especially for him, he was like very observant in a way. Like he
Yeah.
could see this and that. It
There was a
followed.
mirror in
Yeah,
front
yeah.
of this wall. Yeah, so
So the weird part was like not once was he scared. He just like straight up went into like, oh shit, this can be good for
Ad-
the house. To sell
additional square
additional
footage.
square foot. Like really? But then if he's a douchebag, I mean, and he's desperate, it could
He
happen.
even measured straight up the wall the room with the camera and the bucket, like without even like batting an eyelash. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, it's
And
just a
then
new
he
room.
he bumps into accidentally the secret door in the secret room. So he goes through the tunnel, and he keeps measuring shit, and then he finds that room with all the clothes and a TV that's playing a mother it's like an ad or something about a mother taking care of a kid or her baby, and then that's when attacked, right? He was attacked, or yeah, he
Yeah,
was attacked by the mother, the creature. He
and
runs,
drop. Mhm.
he falls into a hole, and that's when we see Tess is still alive, and just she comes in, and I this is also like a testament to how women are the better sex. Like she's smart,
Calm.
she's calm, and like
Yeah.
so they're under a hole, and there's like a cover, like a cage cover, and the creature comes in and brings out this disgusting big bottle of, I don't know what's in it. I assume it's
It's
milk,
hopefully
uh,
it's her milk, probably,
and wants them to
or
drink.
some milk.
So this is
Yeah.
where it becomes obvious that she treats them as she wants she wants her own babies, and she's treating anybody she captures like a baby. And Tess immediately knows that as long as you don't get mad and don't piss her off, she doesn't hurt you. And of course, what's his name? Fuck.
Justin Long or Bill Skarsgård.
Justin AJ Gilbride. So AJ the actor like doesn't want to drink. We see this drink force herself, and he doesn't want, so he pisses her off. She jumps down. And it's like I really love how she's done. Like it's practical, but I don't know if there's CG there, but it
Mhm.
looks really practical. She grabs him, brings her away, brings him away, and since he didn't want to drink from the bottle, he drinks
From the
straight
teeth.
from the teeth. And uh, it, there was something like a little poetic with him forcing himself on raping somebody, and then now he's being, forced, like the scene with the legs, like he's
Mhm.
squirming, like I think it was a symbolism. So anyways, she escapes, and she goes out, and she finds cops, or somebody helps her, like somebody helps her, the homeless guy. But and she still goes out, finds a gas station, finds some cops. But to the cops, she looks like a
Yeah,
homeless
you're
drug
right.
addict, right? Because
It's a
she's
rough
all
neighborhood.
dirty. She doesn't have
Hmm.
ID. She looks messed up, and it's a rough neighborhood. So they assume that she's just like an alcoholic drug addict, and they don't even pay her any mind. So she goes back. He goes back and say, but I did like her plan though. Like so she comes out. Uh, so as she's away, Justin Long, AJS also escapes because the mom tries to go back and get a test. He finds
Hmm.
another door, another room, and he finds the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, before this, there's like a cut scene where there's another guy, like
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. There's
adult
another
male.
time jump. So
Oh,
it's
we
like,
don't we
we
didn't
have,
know that it was a time jump at
yeah.
first. It wasn't
So we have
obvious.
another hard cut, a jump cut to a
Yeah.
different character,
So we think
an old guy.
it's like assumed that, not assumed, but it's like it's trying to make you think that it's another character that's gonna interact with. Well, he did, but you know what I mean. He's another character, another scene. The guy who's going to groceries, and after grocery, it's showed that he's a serial killer attacking women, and then we cut. That's it. We don't.
Mhm.
She. We just show that he's like preying on women, but and then that's it. And then we jump to the back to the present, or back to the norm, the scene that we know, and this AJ finds this room, and there's an old guy that's like sick in the door, and it's not very obvious, but the face does look like the guy that we just saw.
Yep.
It's similar enough,
But it's easy
and
to assume that
it's
that
not.
guy might have been a prisoner as well,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, because he's like sick and he's in bed and he can't talk, he can barely move, and AJ sees a TV with a lot of VHS tapes, and he's trying to talk to him and trying to calm him down, and he wants some help, and he brings his cabinet near him because couldn't understand what the old guy wanted, and then he goes to the TV and then he plugs in a tape, and then we jump. This is like cutting back and forth with Tess and AJ. So in Tess, we know we find the history, which isn't like a big mystery. It's just like pretty simple, but nicely done. Like this guy is a serial killer or serial kidnapper, rapist,
Kidnapper rapers, yeah.
and killer also, and he kidnaps. I don't know even if it's just one. He could have just kidnapped one, and
Mm.
then raped her,
Start.
and then impregnated her, and then raped the baby when it of course she waited till it grew up, raped that one, and then raped another baby, and then just kept raping his children's children until we get the mother who's like a mutated
Mhm.
copy of a copy of a copy, the way a very smart homeless man who knows everything about his neighborhood. So anyway, so that's the origin of the mother. So jump cut. Oh, not jump. Back to AJ. The serial killer rapist guy gets the gun and apparently turns it on himself. Right. I guess maybe
Mhm.
he thought that they're found out or something. Maybe he just
No,
wants to
I
give
mean,
up.
he knew that he was
The jig was
yeah,
up or something,
if
something like
the
that.
jig was up, it's done. He didn't wanna, but also he's old and he is
Sick.
in pain, so just wanted an easy way out. Smart.
So AJ gets the gun, and then um so Tess also knows that uh the homeless guy uh wait, hold on, just gonna text Arnie. There. So the homeless guy tells her that the mother doesn't go out in the day, she'll go out at night.
Mm.
So Tess gets his in her car at almost sunset. So there's still sun out. She goes back in the house, grab her keys, gets into her car, and readies it. So as soon as the mother comes out, she rams, like it's so smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
She rams it, but the problem is she didn't confirm. She didn't do the double tap. So she rams him, pins her to the house, and then AJ she gets AJ out. Or is it AJ that comes out, or she comes in
No,
and
no,
gets
no.
AJ? Oh,
She
she
goes
goes
down
down, so
to save AJ,
and she gets
but
shot.
because it's dark
Yeah.
tunnels and AJ got a gun from the old guy.
Uh-huh. And
Okay,
this
understandably,
is
there's
understandable. Yeah, the shot
yeah.
was understandable. I would have could have done the same thing. I probably would. I mean I'm kind of trained. I mean we've shot guns, so
Mhm.
we have some training. So and then again we haven't been in that situation, so we never
Again,
know.
same for me. If I were there, dark tunnel, multiple monsters, sh- shoot first, ask questions later.
Agreed. So, but I mean, he did take her out. So it's not
Mm.
like he shot her and then she did feel bad. He wanted to be a nice guy.
Mm.
So they go out, but then as they go out, the mother's not in the car, between the car and the
Mhm.
house. But I don't know why they didn't get the
Oh,
car.
it couldn't start anymore. I remember
Oh, they
when
try that.
she tried starting it again after she rammed
Oh, okay.
the
So they go find the homeless person, And then we get the Samuel L. Jackson speech where he asks him why how are they safe in that place, and then he says like I've been here 15 years, and she didn't come in, and then that's when she comes in and kills him like horribly, like pulls her like he pulls
Pulls
the
arm
arm
out
out the head,
and
splits
kill and beats him with his own arm.
there we go. And then so Tess and AJ as Tess is shot ran out, he fucking drops so they climb like a water tower, and then he drops the fucking gun like an like an idiot.
Hey, again, it's not like done clumsily. It's like, yeah, you drop shit. You're rushing, you're scared. Yeah.
So as they get up, AJ has another flash of fucking selfishness. Uh, knows that the mother thinks of them as children, so she throws Tess from the roof, and the mother, as she gets up, dives after her, and they fall. And he goes down, and and I guess apparently Tess was saved by the mother and
Yeah,
cushioned,
the mother
was able to
jumped
catch her
after
and
Tess and yeah, and
turn
shielded
and
her for the fall.
yeah, and which makes her not that. I mean, not evil, I guess, but
Yeah, it's just
she's more
he's
like an
she's an
animal,
innocent
right?
monster.
She's
Yeah.
more like an animal or an animal, not evil. The dad was the father was of course evil. So he, I don't know how he was able to twist it and said that he's still a good guy. So he does try to save Tess, but then that's when we figure out that the mother's still alive. Stands up, grabs him, punctures his eye, both of his eyes, and then splits his head open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he pulls it like that.
Crushes his head. Yeah.
And then she goes down to Tess, thinks of her like a baby. Tess shoots her in the fucking face. And that's the credits. And then I think we got the post credits of her just walking around, walking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find some help or something. And that's Barbarian.
It's a fun movie, short, very well shot. I love the jump scenes between the different types of story. It's not something that you'll get a catch on watching the trailer. So I was pleasantly surprised how deep or
Yeah.
how varied what I thought the movie was going to be during the trailer and what the actual movie is. So that's like, super enjoyable. Like before we close out the episode, what are your favorite parts of the movie? And then, of course, your personal rating.
So I mean, I love how it was shot. I like a lot of the, I don't know, the cinematography, the editing, the camera shots made a lot of mundane scenes
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't know how. Like it was shot well. Like it helped a lot. My only issue was like, which it kind of fixed also, was like the first part was like, it seemed like the first part was like the scream, the intro kill,
Mm-hmm.
like like just showing the killer killing someone, but it was too long. Like killing Tess.
Mm.
So I was like, that was so long for a setup. It was like almost an hour or like 40 minutes, and then we get to Justin Long, and then we get to him, and it's like another setup. Like it was pretty also significant, and he was also a douche. He was like, or they could have switched it. I was thinking like they could have switched it up. Like, why do the intro kill with a nice person and then
That's true.
this assholes? And then when, so I was a little annoyed. I mean, I still loved it. I was still enjoying it. But then when he falls down the hole and then suddenly Tess goes shh and she's alive, like,
Mm.
oh fuck, I love it. I
And the
got it.
movie was all connected. Yeah.
That's when I got it, and then I really liked it. And yeah, I mean like it's like there was a good mystery, but when the cat was out of the bag, they weren't shy with it. They didn't keep like hiding
Mhm.
it. Like they knew like, oh, you guys know what it is, so here it is. So, like and There were gross scenes as well and creepy stuff. So I like the mix. I like the casting with Bill Skarsgård was perfect. And Justin Long was perfect as the douchebag guy. Tess was great. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, so that was for me, that was the reason why I liked it even more, because when watching the movie, you're right, the first part was very long, like the Bill Skarsgård and
Tess.
Tess portion was long, but I really thought that was the entire movie. I thought, like, at some point it's like, oh, it's a weird act that Bill Skarsgård is doing, psychologically breaking down Tess. So I thought that was it. I thought it was just going to be repeating or going over and over. And then we cut to Justin Long, and then we cut to the old guy. And it's like, oh, it's multiple stories in one, it's multiple movies in one, multiple premises in one, and then they have just like a converging point in the basement. So I like that. But yeah, you're right. Saying like there's only so much you could do with $4.5 million with just a Airbnb and a tunnel. There's only so much you can do. So, but in the end, like that's what scary movies are for me. It's like take me to a ride, make it not stupid. I do like the idea. Like yeah, there's like I would never do that in if I was that in this situation, but not a lot, right? It's
And
not a
it
lot.
wasn't
Like they
that out there.
that
I mean, somebody
it's
would
like
still do it, but
you can
like one
kind
out
of
of 10 or
justify
two
it,
out of 10.
right?
No,
Yeah,
it's not like the 0 out of 10. Nobody would do that.
yeah.
Maybe
It's like,
somebody would.
all right, if you're okay, toilet paper is in the basement. Yeah, all right. I'll make sure I'll run down, run up. That's it. Somebody's going to try to investigate a murder. I'm never gonna do. I'm If I see a murder room, I'm out. That's it. Right. So yeah, there are a few things there, but not too blatant. You kind of said like they had to do it because like if they didn't do it, it's not gonna be a movie ends. Right. So I really like that part. So but overall it's like it's a really fun movie. So yeah, to close it out, what's your rating
I'll
for
give it
Barbarian?
a pretty good solid 8.
Yeah,
I think this
cool.
would have been a
Same.
9 in the theater for me. But yeah, but
Interesting.
maybe I can say what. So since I didn't
I'm
watch it.
I'm yeah, I'm an eight too. I was lucky that I was able to watch it with a few people. It was super fun. It's really fun watching it with people because you could, we were there were times there we'd pause it and say like, all right, ladies, would you do this? Guys, would you do this? Like, if you are in an Airbnb and there was somebody in your Airbnb, it's like, if you're a guy, you can't kick the girl out. But if it were reversed, that was a good discussion that we had in the middle of the movie. If it were reversed, if Tess was the first one in the Airbnb, right? Would she have helped out Bill Skarsgård?
She wouldn't have even opened the door.
Exactly. Right. Or conversely, if Tess wasn't cute, would Bill Skarsgård offer a couch and
Mm-hmm.
open a wine? Right? Stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I like that idea. It's a fun mental exercise. But yeah, it's like this is we suggest watching this with a group of people. You're definitely going to enjoy. Cool. With that, final thoughts.
Yeah. Watch it. It's definitely worth a watch.
Awesome. Again, and if you've lasted this far, thank you very much for the view. Again, we are plus 63HP. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/plus 63HP, on Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram at plus 63HP, and on all your favorite podcasting apps. Just search plus 63HP. We have multiple shows that drop during the week. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we drop our review show where we deep dive into movies and series, rate them, rank them, provide our opinions, whether you should watch it. On Wednesday, we record and drop our first ever D&D campaign. So we've never played D&D before. We started last year. We're recording every session and we're putting it for posterity and for your entertainment. On Thursday, we have a curated list of trailers, featurettes, short videos, clips, and we react to them. We see how hyped we are for these upcoming content. And if you want to join along, that is during Thursdays. And on Fridays, because Chubax and our other bestest best friend RJ cannot get enough of D&D, they spun off their second D&D campaign where they are bad guys. And those episodes drop most Fridays as well. So with that, on behalf of Chubax and all the other boys and the Plus 63 HP stable of podcasts, we thank you and we will see you in the next video.